Hi everybody, this is Chloe Hudson with World Peace Projects. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I wanted to talk a bit about reverse engineering timelines. Now, this is a technique that I have been using and building on for 16 years throughout my whole practice as a metaphysician, I like to call myself. And I have done tremendous work with not only myself and healing copious amounts of trauma, but also with clients and students. So I wanted to impart some of this knowledge onto you guys today and offer you an opportunity to learn and dive into this technique in a very safe and efficient, comprehensive way for yourself. So quantum physics has now shown that the future can affect the past. They have done different experiments, such as the delayed choice quantum eraser or the double slit experiment, to show that we can create change by altering the future, which in turn immediately affects the past outcomes. When I learned of these experiments, I felt so validated because I've been doing this type of work through reverse engineering for years. And as a lot of us know, through metaphysical means, a lot of this work can be, kind of brushed aside as not authentic, not tangible, scientifically provable, things like that. So there's a lot of validity behind this now. Reverse engineering timelines is an experience that helps tremendously, especially when it comes to healing soul fragmentation. So to explain soul fragments quickly, is when we have trauma experience, there's an origin point of a trauma. And the way I'm going to kind of relate this is, if you have some kind of a trauma, and let's say you go into shock in that moment, right? What's also happening on a more in-depth level through many different layers of your being, emotionally, possibly mentally, psychically, energetically, sexually, depending on the trauma, what have you, astrally, and on it folds out, is there's like a fracture. In that moment, your soul, there's a sharding that happens. And if we think about like dropping a vase, right, and it's smashing on the ground and pieces fly all directions, it's very difficult to gather up all of those shards and those pieces, and then that much more difficult to put them back together. And this happens throughout our existence, through space, time, and time, space. And if you will, these shards fly out in all directions, and these parts of our soul experience, our consciousness, our psyche, in a way break off from our cohesive self, our consciousness, our experience. So a lot of shadow work that is done in metaphysical means is to pull these soul fragments back together, to magnetize them back in, to find them throughout space and time, reintegrate them and bring them back into the whole, which then helps to let go of whatever possible looping patterns of trauma anchored at the moment of the fracture. So often we experience these looping karmic cycles, or looping traumatic experiences. And that essentially is an echo of the original experience in space-time, whenever or wherever that was. It could be this timeline, it could be an alternate reality, it could be another past timeline or a future timeline. It is possible to heal the experience from this now moment, regardless of where it anchored, though it is most efficient, especially if it's something that you've worked on for a long time and it keeps happening. You keep manifesting the same relationship, or the same people keep showing up, or the same outcome, no matter how much work you've done. It can often be because the anchor is so deep in the root experience that in order to shift it throughout all timelines that it has been affecting, we must find the original point of the trauma itself and work to heal that. And in order to do this, I like to utilize reverse engineering timelines. So this is a combination of working with complex shadow work to then access internal self, finding the origin point in that timeline of experience, expanding the time, doing the work to alter and shift it and free up the energetics, the perspective, the experience, the soul aspect, which is the version of you in that timeline. Heal that in the best way that is aligned with Creator Source Spirit. And then extract ourselves out of that perspective or timeline, recondense or collapse the time again, and release it. And throughout quantum understanding of time, that then works to alter and shift all affected timelines that are connected to that original trauma, and release that if you have done the work efficiently. There are many implemented steps that are required here, and there's care that needs to be taken around this. It also takes the ability to be able to understand if you're even accessing an authentic timeline, or is this a holographic insert created to detour you from the actual origin point of your trauma and busy you in some unreal space of astral energies. So I'm offering a 5-week course coming up here, November 7. It's going to be every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Zoom, and it will end December 3rd. We are going to move into a lot of these techniques and work to assist you to really grasp the ability to do this for yourself. We'll be looking at components such as time. It's important to understand the different ways in which we perceive and experience time, dependent on the reality or the density in which it's being experienced, and how time is ultimately malleable, how you can use that to your advantage, but also how that has been used against you. I want to expand into a bit of how reverse engineering timelines is very akin to inception in dream time, and how inception has affected us and been implemented onto us, how this can assist to acknowledge it, recognize it, and ensure that that manipulation of engineering a timeline is not used against us. I also want to help everybody understand how you can create authentic change only and always from the perspective of the observer, which is you in that timeline. And when you work to clear this out, how it can immediately shift your current timeline if you have the ability to fully release the karmic patterning and the experiences and any strongholds that you may have, or your emotional body may have, or memory loops may have on anchoring you into that experience. This will take us into accessing 0 point and now moment through self. I also want to help to assist you to recognize how we can be pulled into alternate astral spaces that may not actually be authentic or real, and find the true space of the anchor of the trauma. We can apply this technique to future timelines, alternate timelines, other realities, or now moment to shift or simply observe experiences. If you are interested in learning these techniques and working as a group to really dive in and break down through the components of this work, I would love for you to join us. You are welcome to access the early bird special that's running through October 20th. That is a $50 discount, making the price of this 5-week comprehensive course $240. Otherwise, the regular pricing is $290 for a 5-week comprehensive course, and these are techniques that you can use for yourself and implement. It is really, really efficient work to assist to release finally karmic patterns and loop cycles that we have been proliferating for possibly many lives, but definitely this lifetime. I find that this work gives a way to find a solution. It supports because it offers hope and practical application of real change. So if you would like to join me, I would be really honored to connect with you. You can access and sign up for this course at www.tinyurl.com/reengtime. That's tinyurl.com/REENGTIME. I hope to see you then, and I hope you're doing fantastic. You take care. Bye-bye.